Thank you very much. I hope nobody suffers from seasickness because we're going to be diving into these charts and it zips around quite a lot, so it's all going to get a bit wibbly wobbly over the next 15 minutes. My name's Mick, as you were all aware, because I've just been introduced. I run an international mobile agency called Yodel Mobile, and we've been around for about 8 years in the marketplace. But I guess we're all here today because none of us agrees with this particular statement: if you build it, they will come. Some of you have probably built your app, stuck them in the App Store and nobody's found it. Some of you have probably come to the market a little bit later and understand that that's the case. We all know that is a load of old rubbish. That's a lot of rubbish from the bin strike in Brighton, which is my hometown, which thankfully stopped 2 weeks ago, so my bins have been emptied. So it's really easy, mobile advertising. What you need to do is help your potential user find your app, and then make sure they feel compelled to actually download your app. Job done. Well, what I'm going to talk to you today about is pretty much a consolidation of my 20 years worth of experience in marketing and advertising, 8 of those in mobile. So I've condensed that into 12 rules and hopefully just short of 15 minutes worth of talk. So I think you guys are benefiting from all the hard work I've done. So get your pens ready. We're going to dive in straight away. 12 key points. And the first one kicks off with have a very clear role for mobile. It's already been touched on a couple of times, but one thing that never ceases to surprise me is how many people actually go out and build an app without actually defining what the goal is, what the prize is. Is that going to be generating new customers? Is that looking to generate new downloads? Is it a revenue driver? Is it a CRM tool? Once you've considered mobile, the first thing you must do is define that particular goal. And once you've done that, you then need to look at your strategic process. That's your second rule. I don't know if you managed to write that down in time, but we have a 6-step process that we recommend that anybody in the mobile space should follow. If you follow this, the chances of failure are probably going to be, they will be considerably reduced. You start with your business and marketing objectives, you define the role of mobile, what the prize is, what you're trying to achieve with mobile. You then look at the mobile strategy, how you go about delivering that, what are you building for that? That's your development phase. Is it an M-site? Is it an app? Is it an Android app? Is it a CRM, SMS solution that you're going to put in? And then you look at the mobile delivery, which is what we're pretty much going to be talking about for the next 3 or 4 sessions today. Essential for all of that is your campaign evaluation. There are so many tools now that you can actually put into your app or overlay onto your activity to make sure you know what is actually happening in the mobile space. And that's your campaign evaluation element. So that's 2 rules. Number 3, the old marketing rules still apply. As I said, I've been in marketing and advertising for quite a while, and I've still got my very first day book when I was a green behind the ears TV buyer in the early 90s. And there's 6 things that are written on the back page that must have been told me within the first month or 2 of me working in advertising. And I've dragged these up today for this particular presentation because they still hold true, and very much so for advertising in the mobile space. You've got to be clear, you've got to be targeted. There's no point in actually using advertising and marketing solutions that aren't going to reach the audience you're actually looking for. The right message, if it's a free app, if you want people to download, make sure that's included in the ad. Good creative still works extremely well in mobile. There's an awful lot of clutter out there and there's an awful lot of crap being said. So if your creative stands out, so will the number of app downloads you're getting. The right environment, if it's a sport app or a gaming app, obviously you want to be advertising in those kind of environments, and also the right mindset. What is your consumer, your potential consumer, going to be thinking when they're actually downloading? Are they got the time to download? Are they looking for a game? Are they looking for a purchase through a supermarket app at that point in time? So make sure you get into their mindset. The 4th really important rule, I think, is managing expectations. Again, the excellent morning session earlier on today has kind of covered on all these kind of things. But what are you expecting when you're doing your marketing and advertising and launching your app? Very importantly, if you're an agency, what are your clients expecting to see, and also your boss. Now, I've got a little chart that I'm going to flag up. This is a current campaign of ours. It's been running for around about 8 months. This is this first 6 months of activity. Hopefully you can see there, the big blue stuff there is the number of installs we've had. You can see they started off small, and then over the last month of activity, they absolutely rocketed. The big spiky line there, that is the cost per acquisition. And the little red line at the bottom is the actual activations. So the cost per acquisition is the cost per activation in this sense. Now, coming back to that point, manage expectations. That first peak there, it took a month for us to get through that initial stage of activity, to get the learnings, to drop the networks, to drop the solutions that weren't working, and then to do more of the activities that were working. Now, I've been in situations when we first started where we've been working with clients that have expected results within the first week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. As you can see from this instance, it took a month before we got anywhere close to the cost per acquisition. And the next 3 or 4 months was all about consolidating. And as you can see right at the end, 6 months in, we managed to hit a massive peak, a spike of installs. Thankfully, in this instance, we had a client that was prepared to work with us, understood the situation, and trusted us to get into the marketplace to the extent that we knew what was going to work and what wasn't going to work. So that was a 6 month acquisition, a 6 month management period of activity. Track. The great thing about mobile now, and if I was standing up to present this, say, 18 months ago, we'd probably be talking about what potential solutions there were and what could work. Now there are a number of very good tracking solutions on the market, third party, that you can drop into your applications that give you full visibility of what people are doing within the app, what they're buying, what they're looking at, what they're using more often. The great thing about that is that kind of tracking can now be linked back into where your audiences are coming from. Are they coming from search? What are they clicking on search? Are they coming from Facebook? Are they coming from display advertising? And that allows you as clients, brands, advertisers to then optimize to those areas that are working for you and drop the areas that aren't. And it's so important if cost per acquisition is what you're looking at focusing on. My sixth recommendation is treat every campaign as a test campaign. The market is moving so quickly, and before you know it, the area that rich seam of audience that coming to your app is probably going to dry up. So you constantly need to be looking at new solutions and new ways of looking at things. This is my favourite, actually. Just because you can do it doesn't mean you should. How many of you guys have used Wi-Fi on the tube in London over the last month? Let's say, I'm being generous, 20%? This is an ad, a QR has its place, but this is an ad for QR codes for a job search application service. And I won't ask how many of you are looking for jobs, but let's say that 20% of you that have used Wi-Fi in the underground, and let's say half of you are actually looking for a job at the moment, your market therefore is only 10%. So there's 90% of your ad spend is actually wasted. So just because you can stick a QR code on the underground doesn't mean you necessarily should. Talk to me later about my issues with augmented reality and 3D advertising as well. Things that look great, but they have a place, but aren't necessarily the thing that you guys should be thinking of if it's all about app download and successful app activity. You've got to weigh up the fact that mistakes will be made, and as always in life, you've got to learn from them. This is a great example. This is for Metro. Metro have a gaming product called Play Casino. Now Metro is the daily free magazine that's handed out across the country. As you can see from this, it's a great little ad. It says it all. Join our Android device and get £10 free. The only problem with this ran last Thursday. It is my phone's an iPhone. That's taking me through to the Android market. When you get it right, everything will click. So hang in there. because when it suddenly does go right, it's absolutely incredible. You manage to see those sales, those app downloads, those installs going through the roof. And this is something I'm going to share with you, which is hot off the press. This is some research we've done across a whole range of our clients over the last 6 months, and this is just one slide of a 25-slide presentation. But in short, what we've been seeing is if we've been pushing clients up into the top 20 location in the iOS App Store, we're getting around about 23-25% additional uploads in terms of organic. So that's obviously supplementing the overall activity we're doing. We're getting close to the end. I think we've only got a couple more to do, guys. But this is an American chart just showing you the complexities of the marketplace. There are so many ad networks out there. There's solely marketing solutions, exchanges. There's all sorts of stuff that's going on from new technology, and there's lots of agencies out there. It's a complex marketplace. So my 10th recommendation is get the right team and the right partners behind you and in place. Just because your media agency is spending 50 million quid a month on television doesn't mean they know what they're doing in mobile. Use the specialists. The mobile landscape doesn't stop evolving. I mean, this is what I started on, the complexities of the space, but anybody know what the date was yesterday? It was the 10th of July. 10th of July was 5 years ago. The App Store was actually launched, and now, as you're fully aware, there's 900,000 apps in the App Store. The iPad was only launched 3 years ago. We don't know necessarily where the market's going to go, other than we know it's going to go crazy. There's going to be new tech. We'll be using different kinds of devices to phone and text and download apps on in the next 2 or 3 years. So always have an eye to the future, and don't sit back and accept what the market is as it currently stands. This was a piece on the BBC website yesterday. App Store's full of zombies as it celebrates its 5th birthday. What this article was suggesting is that nearly 2/3 of the apps out of that 900,000 on iOS and 850,000 on Android are apps that are just not getting downloaded. They might be getting 1 or 2 downloads a month. So they're referring to them as zombies. There is so much out there in the App Store that nobody is using. So once you've got your downloads, make sure your users keep coming back. There were some stats released a couple of days ago which suggest that 68% of smartphone users use 5 or less apps a month. Consider that when you look at your phone and see how many apps you've downloaded. So it's all well and good, all of this push activity that we're proposing, that you need to track, you need to get people to download your app and utilize it. What you also need to do is make sure you put in place a solid CRM push strategy, a marketing strategy in place to make sure that your consumers are coming back to your app, that you're updating it regularly, and also you're cross-promoting it across all your other applications in the marketplace. And that, friends, is myself. Hopefully I've done that in about 10 minutes. I'll be around all day if you've got any questions, and hopefully you found that quite useful. Thank you.